Goal setting is a powerful process for keeping ourselves on track in terms of focusing on results that will turn our visions of the future into realities. Most folks, however, are frustrated at their lack of ability to reach their goals. The number one reason we found that this is the case lies in the reality that most people simply do not know how to set effective goals. This video is designed to support users of the Intent One system and anyone else attempting to get closer to their vision of the future to set goals more effectively. We're going to do this by making some distinctions, breaking down the components of an effective goal, showing you some examples of what are and are not goals, and how you can turn ineffective or counterproductive goals into effective goals. So, we're going to make a distinction between a priority life area or value, a vision, an objective, a goal, a project, and a habit or practice. Why are we doing this? Well, it's been our experience that folks will interchange these and effectively disable the goal setting process. So let's work on eliminating that obstacle by starting at the top of the food chain with our values or priority life areas. At the top of the goal setting process are the priority life areas. These are the areas of our lives that we value most highly. These are not things we do or achieve. They are simply areas of our lives that are most important to us. They hold intrinsic value and are really more about who we are and what's truly important to us than what we do. They're relatively different for almost everyone in terms of what they are and their priority in our lives. These life area priorities can include things like physical health, mental health, spirituality, family, financial security, achievement, or any other general life area. My personal priority life areas in order, for instance, are healthy body, emotional health, enjoyment of life, great personal relationships, financial independence, education, and athletic ability. I actually review this list every morning and ensure that I am on track with a goal or project related to each of them, and all of my highest priority goals emanate from these values or priority life areas. Within the Intent One process, we begin by focusing only on the top 3 life priority areas. We do this to avoid the effects of the law of diminishing returns. The law of diminishing returns, relative to goal setting, says that if we have too many things to focus on, we focus on very little. We've found that starting with 3 focus areas gives us the greatest chance of achieving results in all 3 of those areas. If we focus on 10, we probably won't achieve meaningful results in any area at all because we'll be spread way too thin. So now that we understand what a value or life priority area is, let's discuss what a vision is. A vision is an idealized image of what one's experience will look and feel like once they've reached the goals that fulfill the priorities for the life areas that are important to them. For example, I had as part of a vision for myself in the area of enjoying my life, living in a home that had an amazing view, and owning a very specific European sports car. At the time I'm making this video, I live on the 17th floor of a building in which I have a view that you have to see to believe. It's actually pretty dramatic. I also have the exact sports car I envisioned parked in the garage below my condo. I cannot overestimate how powerfully having a clear vision of what success looks like focuses our planning and actions on achieving the outcomes we desire. History is littered with the stories of people who have successful careers, family lives, athletic accomplishments that have used visualization to propel them through their challenges. The vision, however, is not a goal. It is a mental representation that drives our daily behavior and our focus on our goals. So now that we have more clarity about what a vision is, let's clarify what an objective is. An objective is not a goal. It is a general idea of something we're shooting for, but it's usually not highly specific. For instance, an objective might be living in a beautiful place. We all understand in concept what this means, but it is by no means specific enough to aim for or measure. A beautiful place for one person might not be beautiful at all for another. So, in order to turn this objective into a goal, we're going to use the SMART goals structure. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. In other words, they have a deadline. So let's go through the process with my home purchase using this objective. In other words, let's turn this objective into an effective goal. So first, in terms of specificity or being specific, a beautiful place for me will have the following characteristics. It's tropical or mostly sunny weather. There's wildlife, lots of trees, a view of the ocean or some kind of body of water, balconies or porches so I can enjoy the weather, lots of windows so I can enjoy the view, and easy access to utilities, roads, food, and other people. So those are the specifics. This is a very specific place. How will I measure if I've achieved this goal? Well, it'll be pretty easy to measure whether I am living in this place or not. So that's an easy one. Achievable. I definitely did my homework and figured out how I would finance living in this place. I had to jump through some hoops and stretch myself in lots of ways, but it was definitely achievable. Relevant? This goal is directly relevant to my life priority area of enjoyment of life. So yes, highly relevant. And last, time-bound. For tax reasons, my deadline for this goal was June 30th of 2021. So yes, it had a deadline. And by the way, on June 28th of 2021, I closed escrow. Interestingly, I set this goal 24 months earlier and missed several other properties during the process. But when I saw this property online, I made an all-cash offer without ever visiting it and closed escrow within 2 weeks. I knew as soon as I saw it that it was the right place. Since I moved in, I discovered that 5 other residents in my building made offers on this property, but could not beat my offer because I knew what I wanted, how important it was to me, and that this was exactly what I'd been looking for. So to be clear, my goal was highly specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And this set my intention firmly. I believe that's exactly why I was able to acquire it. If it were an objective as opposed to being a goal, I may have picked some other property that didn't cover all my bases or not been as highly motivated to buy this particular home. Because I set the goal very specifically and the intention of achieving it, I ended up getting exactly what I saw in my vision. So let's talk about projects now. A mistake many folks make when they're setting goals is to use the terms projects and goals interchangeably. For our purposes, goals will have projects attached to them. Those projects will have plans that significantly increase the odds that the goal will be achieved. For instance, in order to acquire the property I wanted in a very aggressive seller's market, I knew I'd have to make an all-cash offer. So one of the projects I put together was to move some legal issues ahead so I could release some stock from a lockup agreement and have the cash available for the purchase offer. Another project was to locate a property that met all my requirements, and I spent months looking at properties across the U.S. and Mexico to find the best property available within my budget. This required a lot of traveling, speaking to agents, reviewing listings, and so forth. The goal was to acquire a property that fit my requirements by June 30th, 2021. The projects were to research and determine how I would finance the property and to locate properties that fit my requirements. Within Intent One's process, goals will be set and projects will be built to support those goals. But keep in mind that there are 2 different parts of the process. Now some clarification regarding habits and practices. In terms of the work we're doing here, we ask that you not make a habit or practice a goal. Keep in mind that a goal is something that's achieved. A habit or practice is something you do on a consistent basis. Work you do to improve a skill, or a way you react to certain environmental cues. Although you may achieve practicing some behavior, we've found that in terms of goal setting, it works best if you total up the measures of the habit or practice and make that the goal. For example, if our goal is working 4 days a week by the middle of this year, does that mean that we simply work 4 days in the middle week of the year? If it's January, a more effective goal might be to take the 4-day work weeks for the 26 weeks between now and the middle of the year and make the goal 104 days of work by June 30th, which is 4 times 26. This way you have something to achieve and you can measure your progress towards that achievement. Although this is an achievable goal, it may not be very attractive. And honestly, the more attractive the goal, the better it will drive your behavior and performance. A better goal might be to complete your 3 top projects by June 30th, or to achieve the lead position by June 30th. If you're going to use them as a goal, as much as possible, convert your practices and habits to what they will add up to by some deadline. I practice shooting a basketball 5 or 6 days a week and always focus on making 500 baskets per session. It's a great practice. My short-term goal, however, is to make 10,000 shots in a 30-day period with at least 3,000 of those shots made from the three-point line. That is a very simple way to convert a practice to a goal. Finally, let's talk about the work required to settle on a goal. We've discovered that people don't do the math up front. They simply set a goal arbitrarily without really looking at the environment. I was speaking to a young woman about a new career move she planned, and she said she would work 12 hours a day. I've personally worked 12 hours per day over an extended period, and it's really hard on the body and the mind, and it takes a particular muscle to be able to pull that off. As well, she had other goals that would consume chunks of her time, meaning that she would have to give up sleep, personal and family relationships, and some of her other life area priorities. In other words, this was not a realistic commitment. The problem with over or under committing is that you can't make accurate projections. So, your goals will either be too easy or impossible to achieve. It's imperative to be thoughtful about your goals, the environment you'll be operating in, the amount of time you'll be able to commit, the amount of money or energy you'll need, the fact that plans meet obstacles, and so forth. Just throwing out arbitrary goals and commitments stacks the odds against us, so we really want to take a thorough look before we commit. So, to recap, all of our goals will best flow from our life area priorities or values. If we build our vision, objectives, and goals from our life area priorities, we'll have a much higher probability of success because these areas of our lives are already intrinsically valuable to us and will drive our behavior better than almost any other motivation. On the Intent One website, you'll place your top values, priority life areas, in order in the fields you see in Task 1 of the goal setting process. When you've completed this step, click on the Save and Continue button and go to Task 2, Set Goal 1. You'll notice that your top value life area priority is shown in the instructions for this and the following 2 goal setting steps. The goal you build on this page will be designed to directly focus you on aligning yourself with your top value life area priority. You'll do the same thing for steps 3 and 4, which are Set Goal 2 and Set Goal 3, which will focus you on aligning with your second and third highest value life area priorities, respectively. Remember when you set your goals to use the SMART goal structure. Make sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Later on in the Intent One process, you'll create projects for achieving your goals. Remember, a goal is something that you can measure at some point in the future. For our purposes, it works better if it is not a habit or practice. We have an implementation process for building habits that we'll share with you in a later video and in a later part of this process. A goal is something that drives you, like climbing a mountain. The goal is to reach the peak. The projects may include things you'll do to get to specific milestones, like getting all of your gear together, or determining the best time to climb the mountain and scheduling your trip. Habits and practices are things you do on a consistent basis or in reaction to certain occurrences. Habits and practices are not goals. And lastly, but extremely importantly, please invest some time and energy in doing the upfront research to verify that if you stretch yourself, you can achieve your goals. Setting goals that are too far beyond our reach lead to burnout, reduced motivation, and ultimately failure, which is exactly the opposite of what we want. I hope this helps all of you with your goal setting. You'll find more content to help you through the Intent One process as you proceed through the steps on the website at intentone.net. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We wish you the best of results in building the life of your dreams.